What's cracking, y'all? Welcome back to Replicant EDC. We got a package from Chaves Knives. So this was a bit of a spontaneous purchase. Unboxing knife, Peña Mula custom. So I was on Instagram and I had no idea that these were dropping. I was on Instagram one day and these had just dropped. So I figured before they sell out, go ahead and pick one of these up. So apparently there's like a limited run that they did. Oh, cool. Came with some stickers. You guys know I'm a sticker slut. Chaves skull, skeleton key, Chaves knives. Says Chaves Knives exclusive. Scapegoat Street El Chicano by Carlos of Chaves Knives. So this is going to be a bolster lock configuration. Brown micarta scales, Zert blasted titanium frame and clip, satin chisel grind, M390 blade. So there's like a little limited run that they did. They did like 5 different configurations on this scapegoat, and this is the one that called out to me. Right off the bat, I like the blacked out box. I had a scapegoat once before, and the box came with the red. Everything was red. The skeleton key was red. The lettering was red. So I like this new blacked out box. Here we go. So they had 5 different configurations on the scapegoat. Saying that right? Scapegoat? Yeah, scapegoat. This is beautiful. Got the brown micarta scales on it. Then it's got the brown. It's got the brown backspacer on it. Brown micarta backspacer. Alright, y'all. So the battery died on my phone yesterday when I was making the first half of this video. So this is part 2. And this is the following day. So I've spent all night yesterday, all morning today, fondling this beautiful blade. So I guess this will be like a unboxing / first impressions on this Chaves Scapegoat. There's an exclusive. They're calling this one El Chicano. So I think I had already mentioned that it's brown micarta scales, the brown backspacer, or brown micarta backspacer, and this blade is actually coming in chisel grind. So the front of the blade is completely flat, and then on this side of the blade you got it's a flat, I guess flat chisel grind blade, but it is this is my first chisel ground blade, and they say that it is sharper on the edge and thinner on the edge because it's only one half of the blade versus it being two halves coming into a point. You only got half, so it's sharper. I'm really loving this the Scapegoat. Now, this is actually my second Scapegoat that I've had. Fun fact: my first high-end production knife that I ever got was actually the first version of the Scapegoat. I had it in black G10 show side, and the back side was all titanium frame lock. And I really enjoyed that knife, but it was heavier and beefier for my liking at the time. But this one is actually, since it has micarta, I guess, inlays or overlays on both sides, it's actually lighter than the G10 version that I had once before. And I'm really liking the finish on the titanium on this one. It has like a orange peel finish on it. It's really smooth. Everything is nice and rounded off. No sharp edges. Even on the bolster lock, which I had an issue with the gunslinger jack with the bolster lock poking me on the index finger. And this one I don't have no issues on it. I will say that the detent on this version is a lot lighter than the previous one that I had, the G10 version. And I wasn't expecting it to be so drop shutty. So like on any normal blade and any normal knife, whether it's frame lock, liner lock, bolster lock, I will disengage the lock and I will let the blade come down and hit my nail, and then I'll close it shut. Well, the first time I disengaged this lock, I did the exact same thing that I always do. I let the damn blade come down, and this choil comes down to a really sharp edge right here. So what happened was that choil ended up biting me in the thumb right there. So actually we missed it on the when my battery died on the phone. If not, it would have been on video. But yeah, you gotta be really careful with this one. The blade is really drop shutty. So what you have to do is disengage. What I've done now with this one is I'll disengage it with the knife, I guess laying horizontal versus disengaging it when it's vertical. I'll disengage the knife when it's horizontal, and then I'll move my fingers out of the way, and then I'll lift it up vertically and let the blade shut on its own. So it's very drop shutty. I love that on this version they did away with the screws on the skull here. It's the screw is inset inside of the skull versus having those two screws on the forehead. I'm really loving this knife. This, like I mentioned about the chisel blade, it's very freaking sharp. Almost scary sharp. But yeah, I am really enjoying this Chaves. I really like that it's a lot lighter than any other Chaves that I've had. The skull clip is smooth in and out of pocket. You get a really good clearance underneath the skull, underneath the clip. So I am really enjoying this Scapegoat El Chicano. I've thought about maybe switching out the bearings for skiff bearings, but it really doesn't need it. I mean, you guys see it how drop shutty it is. I put skiffs on this bad boy and oil it. It's gonna be taking off my damn fingers. So it doesn't really need skiffs. I think I'm just gonna leave the factory bearings in here. I haven't even oiled it or anything. Hell, it's smooth and drop shutty as it is, so I don't want to make it any more dangerous for myself. But I am really liking this Chaves. I think it's got me back into Chaves again. And I might pick up a Rendición 229. But for right now, this is my only Chaves in the collection. I'm really enjoying this one. And yeah, this is my first impressions on the I don't know if I mentioned the blade is M390 on this version. Also, I think I said it on the first half of this video. This was one of 5 different versions that they dropped. You had this El Chicano version with the chisel ground blade, the brown micarta scales. You also had a copper version. You had like a reverse tuxedo with the black blade, black PVD coated scales. There was one that they called Dirty Steve, that it was a blacked out blade. It was a 3V blacked out blade. Everything was blacked out. All the hardware, the titanium scales were blacked out, and then instead of having brown micarta scales, it had like a I guess antique linen, almost yellowish micarta scales on it, and then it had the same colorway around the pivot, so it had a pivot collar. So that one was really cool looking. That would have been my second option, but I'm really enjoying this Chaves. This is my first chisel ground blade, so I'm gonna test it out, see how I like it. But it is really damn sharp. I am kind of liking how it's flat on this side with just the Chaves logo. I think it looks really clean. But yeah, this is my first impressions on this Chaves Scapegoat exclusive El Chicano. All right, y'all. Peace out.